Have you ever experienced a moment where everything feels strangely familiar, as if you've lived it before? This odd sensation is known as déjà vu, a French term meaning already seen. It's a puzzling experience that many of us have had, but few truly understand. Déjà vu can feel magical, unsettling, or even a bit scary. It makes us question our memories, our perception of time, and sometimes even our grip on reality. But what does déjà vu really mean? Is it just a glitch in our brains? Or could it be something more meaningful? In this video, we'll look at 9 possible explanations for déjà vu, ranging from scientific theories to spiritual interpretations. 1. A mismatch in memory processing. One of the most widely accepted scientific explanations for déjà vu involves a brief mix-up in how our brains process memories. Our brains are constantly taking in information and storing it as memories. Sometimes, this process can get a little jumbled, leading to the strange feeling of déjà vu. When you experience something, your brain quickly files away that experience. But sometimes, the filing process gets confused. Instead of recognizing that you're experiencing something new and filing it away as a fresh memory, your brain mistakenly thinks it's pulling out an old file. This creates the sensation that you've experienced this moment before, even though you haven't. This explanation suggests that déjà vu is actually a good sign. It shows that your brain is working hard to make sense of your experiences and file them away properly. Even though it feels weird when it happens, it's just your brain double-checking its work and occasionally making a small mistake. It's like your brain is so eager to understand your experiences that it sometimes jumps to conclusions too quickly. 2. Parallel processing in the brain. Another scientific theory about déjà vu has to do with how our brains process information in parallel. Our brains don't just do one thing at a time, they're constantly working on many tasks simultaneously. Sometimes this parallel processing can lead to the feeling of déjà vu. Think of your brain like a team of workers, all doing different jobs to build a house. Usually, all the workers are in sync, but sometimes there might be a slight delay between when one worker finishes their job and another notices. In your brain, this could mean that the part that experiences a moment and the part that makes you aware of that experience gets slightly out of sync. This tiny delay, we're talking milliseconds here, can make you feel like you're experiencing something for the second time, even though it's actually the first. It's as if one part of your brain has already processed the experience and filed it away, while another part is just catching up. This creates that odd feeling of familiarity with something that should be new. It's like watching a live TV show and hearing an echo of what was just said. You know it's happening now, but it also feels like it already happened. 3. Precognitive dreams. Moving into more spiritual or mystical explanations, some people believe that déjà vu could be connected to precognitive dreams. This is the idea that we sometimes dream about events before they happen, and déjà vu is the feeling we get when those dreams come true. Imagine going about your day and suddenly feeling like you've seen this all before. You might remember fragments of a dream you had last night or last week, where you saw yourself in this exact situation. It can feel spooky, like you've somehow seen the future. Some people believe this is evidence of psychic abilities, or a connection to something beyond our normal understanding of time and space. While there's no scientific evidence to support the idea of precognitive dreams, many people find this explanation meaningful. It can make us feel like there's more to our lives than just random events, that perhaps we're connected to something larger than ourselves. For those who believe in this explanation, déjà vu becomes not just a strange brain hiccup, but a glimpse into the mysteries of time and consciousness. 4. Glitches in the matrix. Pop culture has given us another intriguing, if not scientific, explanation for déjà vu: the idea of glitches in the matrix. This concept, popularized by the movie The Matrix, suggests that our reality might be a simulation, and déjà vu is what happens when there's a hiccup in the system. Imagine you're playing a complex video game and suddenly the same scene plays twice. That's kind of what this theory suggests is happening with déjà vu. It's as if the programmers of our reality accidentally hit the replay button for a brief moment. While this idea is firmly in the realm of science fiction, it's a thought-provoking way to look at the experience of déjà vu. This appeals to people who like to question the nature of reality. It makes us wonder, what if our world isn't exactly what we think it is? What if déjà vu is a peek behind the curtain, showing us that there's more to our existence than meets the eye? While it's not a scientific explanation, thinking about déjà vu this way can lead to interesting discussions about consciousness, reality, and the nature of our existence. 5. Parallel universes. Another mind-bending explanation for déjà vu involves the theory of parallel universes. This idea suggests that there are multiple versions of reality existing side by side, and déjà vu happens when we briefly sense one of these alternate realities. Picture your life as a tree with many branches. Each decision you make creates a new branch, a new possible reality. The theory of parallel universes suggests that all these possibilities actually exist. When you experience déjà vu, it might be because you're sensing a moment from a parallel version of your life, where you made slightly different choices. That feeling of familiarity could be you catching a glimpse of another version of yourself, living a life that's similar but not quite the same as yours. While this idea is more in the realm of theoretical physics than proven science, it offers a poetic way to think about the paths our lives could have taken and the mysterious connections between different possibilities. 6. Time slips. Some people interpret déjà vu as a momentary slip in time, where past, present, and future briefly overlap. This explanation suggests that time isn't as linear as we usually think it is, and déjà vu is what happens when we experience a moment of non-linear time. Imagine time as a big ball of yarn instead of a straight line. Usually, we experience it as if we're following the yarn from one end to the other. But what if just for a moment two parts of the yarn touched? That's what this theory of déjà vu suggests is happening. For a brief instant, your present self touches a past or future moment, creating that uncanny sense of familiarity. This interpretation of déjà vu can feel magical or even a bit scary. It suggests that our usual understanding of time as a straight line from past to future might not be the whole story. Maybe time is more flexible than we think, and déjà vu is one of the ways we can sense that flexibility. It's like getting a peek at the bigger picture of time, beyond our normal day-to-day experience of it. 7. Reincarnation memories. For those who believe in reincarnation, déjà vu might be explained as memories from past lives bubbling up into our current consciousness. This spiritual interpretation suggests that the familiar feeling we get during déjà vu is actually us remembering something we experienced in a previous life. Think of your soul as a traveler who has lived many lives. Most of the time, you don't remember these past journeys, but sometimes something in your current life might trigger a memory from a past life. Maybe you visit a place that you lived in during another time, or meet someone who was important to you in a previous life. The sense of familiarity you feel could be these old memories trying to surface. 8. Heightened awareness. Sometimes déjà vu might be the result of a brief moment of heightened awareness. In our daily lives, we often operate on a kind of autopilot, not fully taking in all the details around us, but occasionally we might suddenly become hyper-aware of our surroundings, which can create a feeling similar to déjà vu. Imagine you're walking down a street you've been down 100 times before. Usually you don't pay much attention to the details, but one day for some reason you're extra alert. You notice the exact pattern of cracks in the sidewalk, the way the sunlight hits the buildings, the precise shade of green of the trees. This sudden intense awareness can feel strange and almost familiar, like you're seeing everything for the first time and the 100th time all at once. This explanation suggests that déjà vu might sometimes be our brains adjusting to a higher level of perception. The feeling of familiarity comes from the fact that all this information was always there. We just weren't usually aware of it. It's like suddenly putting on glasses and seeing all the details you were missing before. This interpretation of déjà vu can be a reminder to stay present and aware in our daily lives, to notice the richness of each moment instead of going through life on autopilot. 9. Spiritual awakening. In some spiritual traditions, déjà vu is seen as a sign of spiritual awakening or growth. This interpretation suggests that these moments of familiarity are actually glimpses into a higher level of consciousness or understanding. Think of your spiritual journey as climbing a mountain. Most of the time, you're focused on the path right in front of you, but every now and then, you might get a brief glimpse of the view from the top. That's what this explanation suggests déjà vu might be, a momentary view of a higher spiritual perspective. It feels familiar because, on some level, your soul recognizes this higher truth. For people who resonate with this explanation, déjà vu becomes a deeply meaningful experience. It's seen as a sign that you're on the right path, that you're growing and evolving spiritually. These moments of déjà vu might be interpreted as encouragement to continue your spiritual practices, or as confirmation that you're becoming more attuned to the deeper truths of existence. It turns déjà vu from a puzzling experience into a source of spiritual comfort and motivation. Déjà vu remains one of life's great mysteries, a phenomenon that bridges the gap between science and spirituality, between what we know and what we wonder. Whether you see it as a quirk of brain function, a glimpse into parallel universes, or a sign of spiritual growth, déjà vu reminds us of the complexity and wonder of human consciousness. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.